I think this is excellent news regarding Catherine, the Princess of Wales, but it's going to be very, very tricky, in fact, simply because she could be heading into something of political waters. Let me explain. Hi, good to see you. Thank you so much as ever for your time today. I hope you're keeping well, whatever you're doing. By the way, a lot of people mentioned the other day that I brought up the story regarding the recently closed musical Tammy Faye, which opened on Broadway and then closed within a matter of minutes. So, well, yeah, it's a lot, isn't it? Apparently $25 million. I don't understand where they get those figures from. But, of course, it was a shock to a lot of the Broadway glitterati, simply because it had the name of Sir Elton John attached to it. But, of course, nobody's ever down for long in show business. A couple of days later, Elton John is in the lineup, once again meeting His Majesty the King, this time at the Royal Albert Hall, of course, for the Royal Variety Show, and pushing his next musical, The Devil Wears Prada. Let's just hope that the backers and investors manage to get their money back on that one. Either way, as I've often said, it's strange, isn't it? You and I might be hiding in embarrassment and thinking, oh no, that didn't go well. No such problem, of course, with the likes of Elton John. Moving forward, though, here's an interesting story, to say the least, because as we now know, Catherine, the Princess of Wales, has very kindly, and I think this is a very lovely, moving gesture, has invited some of the survivors, the lucky people from the Southport massacre up in Merseyside this summer to her traditional carol concert at Westminster Abbey. Now, I don't know if you know this, but behind the scenes, Catherine has been integral, keeping in touch with them, making sure things are okay. And as you also know, the pop star Taylor Swift, I would imagine on the, shall we say, nudge from none other than the Prince of Wales, Prince William, invited many to her London concerts too. A terrible, terrible situation. And one that's not truly been addressed over here in the United Kingdom, particularly by the current government, headed by Sir Keir Starmer. Of course, everybody remembers his very fleeting visit to Southport, Merseyside, where he dropped a wreath, didn't speak to the public, and didn't really give the time of day to all the grieving people. Not a good look. It's been detailed in much, much detail by everybody in the media, as one can imagine. But here's where it gets tricky, you see, because every year the current British Prime Minister is also invited to that traditional carol concert headed up by Catherine, the Princess of Wales. And she's in a tricky manoeuvre, really, because obviously, as I told you the other day, His Majesty the King is going to be talking about, the Southport situation in his annual speech to the Commonwealth, the world, the nation. And that, again, apparently didn't go down too well with high office. But how's it going to sit if Sir Keir Starmer decides to represent himself sitting in the very epicentre of Westminster Abbey, when seemingly by so many people believe he hasn't done enough to be open with the public, and more importantly, nobody truly knows the true background to this terrible situation. The only thing we do know is that it happened and people are still grieving. We should be thankful for the likes of Catherine, the Princess of Wales, to have the foresight to break through. But as I said, while she's doing a wondrous thing and helping people in a time of grief, it would take some brass neck for Sir Keir Starmer to sit there in Westminster Abbey. Now, do you think he'll turn up? Neil Sean in the very heart of Yorkshire.